So I know this is not my usual outfit when you see me in front of the camera here on the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network, but we're out here in Indianola today to talk about bees. Now, obviously, there's something that we have talked about a lot, and they have their own set of maybe controversy as it was, but there's a lot to know about them, and there's a lot to learn about them, especially for those of us who like to go to the markets or go to the stores and buy that delicious honey, and the work being done here in Iowa to help keep these bees going and help bring those products to our shelves is a great story, and that's why we're down here today to find out what the buzz is all about. I had the chance to visit with Jason Foley. He runs Honey Hollow in Indianola, and we talked about his operation. Now, when we think about livestock operations in Iowa, we probably think cattle and hogs. We don't think about bees. And Jason Foley is helping us understand what it means to be a livestock producer with those little yellow and black creatures.
Well, I mean, as a beekeeper, you obviously make honey. Or you don't make it, the bees make it, you extract it and you bottle it and etc. It's really a small portion of my business because I'm mainly on the breeding side for other beekeepers, but you just can't get away from it. You've got to do something with the honey. So we go ahead and we extract in August and we'll bottle it up, or we'll put it into big drums and then we'll dole it out throughout the year. But the wife and I thought, let's go ahead and start up a little farmstead, homestead type store and have it in the lower level of our home here. So in addition to the honey, we also have beekeeping equipment that I make in my wood shop. If any of the stuff has wood there, it's all stuff that I've actually made myself. The plastic, obviously, I buy in. But that gives me time in the wintertime when bees are off pollinating crops in California. I can just play around in my wood shop making anything I want. I'm on the livestock side of the business mainly.
Okay.
I make queens to sell to honey producers.
Okay.
So I'm always out here going ahead and taking 4 of these colonies, making them queenless, and I do a manual type of grafting that I put larvae in all these little plastic cups and I hang them under frames and I drop them down inside the hives, and then these queenless hives, each hive breeds me out 90 new queens. And then those queens, when those cells are ready, they go into those little styrofoam boxes on all those stands over there, and the queens hatch out, they go on a mating flight, they come back, and when they're laying eggs, I pluck them out of there and I mail them all over the United States.
Okay, interesting.
But I always keep these hives around to go ahead and make me the queens then for that over there. And then I've got bee yards everywhere around here within a half mile to a mile and a half for drone source colonies, because I do most livestock industries, you have your specialty breeds. So you got your black Angus steer, your Wagyu beef, your Holsteins, they're all breeds within cattle that have specific traits. I raise Russian bees, which are real winter hardy and they're mite resistant, so that's why people like them, is for those 2 aspects. And I try to keep the genetics pure with a closed mating area by having only my colonies within a mile and a half of me. Queens will fly up to a mile for mating purposes.
Okay.
And anybody that has bees within that realm that is a hobbyist, I just give them free queens, so it's still my genetics.
Now, Jason does breed these queen bees to distribute all across the country. And you may know about queen bees. You may have even heard about worker bees. But I did not know that there were so many jobs within the colony. The colony's main goal is to keep itself sustained throughout its life and keep rehabbing itself so it can always keep growing for the future. That includes a queen bee, worker bees, also the drone bees, which are the males, also scout bees, and even guard bees. Now, the only males are the drone bees. Otherwise, the colony is about 95% female, and the drones only have one purpose, and that is to breed the next generation of bees. And while the lifespan for any bee in a colony other than the queen is about 45 days, for these drone bees, it may even be shorter. But because of their importance to the colony and keeping the population going, they do have quite the life. Some of you husbands listening may wish for that life yourself, while some of you wives out there may say, that's pretty much what my husband does already.
Literally a drone. He wakes up in the morning, he gets fed by trophallaxis or he gets fed by hand by all the girl bees, day in and day out. Around 11 o'clock in the day, he'll fly off for half an hour to a drone congregation yard trying to pick up a chick. Then he flies back to the colony and all the girls feed him again, and he'll fly out, and they'll keep doing that until about 2 o'clock in the day. So he really only works from 11 to 2, and it's just trying to pick up chicks. And then he just stays in the colony the rest of the day and is fed. And he does that over and over and over and over again until he finally meets a queen bee and can mate with her. And unfortunately, after mating in the insect kingdom, he also dies, just like a lot of other insects.
Now, even though Foley is in the business of breeding queens to get new colonies off the ground, you can't get away from one simple fact. Bees do one thing and do it very well, and that's produce honey. So even though Foley isn't in the business of selling honey, he does get honey at least once a year so it doesn't go to waste, and that is what he does sell in the store.
Me being a queen producer, I'm shooting myself in the foot every time I'm trying to do the livestock side, because I'm looking at it as, oh, that's a big, beautiful hive that's got great genetics. Let's knock that down and turn it into a cell builder and breed a bunch of queens off of it, and then I'll be able to sell that to my customers. Or, oh my gosh, this is a great hive. Let's turn it into 2-3 hives, because I want to have a whole bunch of hives to go out for pollination services in the wintertime. So whenever I'm doing that, I'm resetting the hive, because there's going to be 30 days, well, not 30, ballpark 1 month of brood that a queen's not laying in there, not keeping up the population into a large amount at that point, and 30 days of lack of children being born in that hive really affects the amount of honey they would be bringing in. All in all, I mean, my little operation of 200 colonies and 500 some mating nukes and blah 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 there, I produce anywhere from 3 to 8 barrels of honey in a year. So, and that's 55-gallon drum.
And not only does Foley have his own business with Honey Hollow, he's also the president of the Iowa Honey Producers.
The Iowa Honey Producers is a statewide organization that we do different fundraisers. We try to bring in money a few different ways to immediately be able to hire big name speakers from across the U.S. that are professionals in the beekeeping field to come in and educate younger beekeepers. We have an annual conference where we bring in speakers over the course of 2 days there that will just from morning to evening be giving talks on all sorts of subject matter, from newbie stuff on up to genetics, on up to breakdown of different chemicals and how tank mixes could affect beekeeping, the profiles of pollen nutrition, just all sorts of stuff there. And we're giving back to the community by bringing in all these people for the education aspect. In addition to that, we have a Honey Queen program where it's at a national level, where we go ahead and we have a statewide competition. We try to find young teens that have a really good background in beekeeping, and we try to foster that even further. And we'll elect one queen for the state of Iowa, and she for a year will travel around Iowa visiting schools, libraries, scout groups, 4-H groups, senior homes, anywhere doing public outreach and getting really comfortable with public speaking. And then she goes on to nationals to try to get the national honey queen position, and then conduct that same type of business all throughout the United States. So again, it's educational outreach. We have a youth scholarship program where we take teens from across the state of Iowa, and as long as they fill out the criteria for our application form and their families agree to the different conditions we've set up, we give them free bees, we give them free hive equipment, we give them free accessory equipment like bee suits, smokers, stuff like that, and we set them up with a mentor, and we pay for educational classes for them to take, so that they can get a rock solid foundation in beekeeping, so that if they really love it, in future years they can be successful with it and turn it into a business themselves. We've got the Buzz newsletter we send out. Our website there has a public outreach that if you're interested in getting into beekeeping, it has a listing of all the cities and townships in the state of Iowa, and if they allow bees and what the rules and regulations are, because some towns will allow you to have 2 colonies. Some have no limit on them. Some say you can't have them at all. And it's a great resource to be able to figure out if you should or shouldn't have bees in your city. So that's the Iowa honey producers.
You can learn more about the Iowa honey producers by visiting their website, and you can also learn more about Honey Hollow Apiary and Gardens by visiting the website they have as well. We aren't done talking about bees yet because, of course, as we know, bees on agriculture are a hot button topic right now. And we'll talk with Jason about the relationship between bees and agriculture, where things were, where things have come, and where things could possibly be going in the future. So look for that to be coming very soon. For the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network in Indianola, I'm Dustin Hoffmann.